bit across southern areas, and still a very pleasant average temperature of the high teens, low 20s for much of Scotland and Northern Ireland. There's the weather front approaching, though, late in the day, potentially still, though, the high 20s further southeast.
The BBC News at 1 is next, and stay with us at 2 for Afternoon Live with all the top stories, weather, business and sport. The Governor of the Bank of England warns the possibility of Britain crashing out of the EU without a deal is uncomfortably high. Mark Carney says that scenario is unlikely, but that the UK and EU must do everything possible to avoid it.
I think the possibility of a no deal is uncomfortably high at this point, yes.
So you're saying quite clearly that a no-deal Brexit would be a disaster?
It is highly undesirable.
Supporters of Brexit say his comments are part of Project Fear. We'll have all the reaction from Westminster. Also this lunchtime, Zimbabwe's opposition vows to challenge the result of the presidential election after Emmerson Mnangagwa is declared the winner. Deaths from sepsis in English hospitals rise by more than a third in 2 years. Those who survive say the impact is life-changing.
Within 24 hours from a normal, healthy man, I became disabled, lost my legs, most of the fingers on my right hand.
The sister of a midwife missing for a week has made an emotional appeal for information. Samantha Eastwood was last seen leaving work last Friday morning. And Spain and Portugal on alert. Locals and holidaymakers are urged to take care as temperatures climb well into the 40s.
And coming up on BBC News, England lose early wickets at Edgbaston as they attempt to build on their lead over India in the first test.
Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to the BBC News at 1. The Governor of the Bank of England, Mark Carney, has warned that the possibility of a no-deal Brexit is uncomfortably high. Mr Carney told the BBC that such an outcome would be highly undesirable and the UK and EU should do all things to avoid it. However, he said planning for difficult circumstances had been undertaken. Brexit-supporting MPs say the Governor's comments are part of Project Fear. Our business correspondent, Rob Young, reports. The time is 20 past 1. Our top story this lunchtime. The Governor of the Bank of England has warned that the possibility of Britain crashing out of the European Union without a deal is uncomfortably high. And coming up, why scientists are concerned that even low levels of pollution may affect your heart.
Coming up on BBC News, the emotions of a long day and a long match leave Andy Murray in tears as he reaches the quarter-finals at the Washington Open.
The heatwave in Spain and Portugal is now the most severe for 15 years. The sweltering temperatures come after weeks of sustained heat across Europe. The authorities are on alert for forest fires, and locals and holidaymakers are being urged to take care because the region could see the hottest temperatures ever recorded in the continent this weekend. Tom Burridge reports.
Hopefully it becomes just a little bit more bearable for sleeping at night as well. But nevertheless, that's where the heat continues. But for many further north, still a lot of dry, fine and pretty warm weather. Jane.
All right. Thanks very much, Helen. Thank you. And just a reminder of our main story this lunchtime. The Governor of the Bank of England, Mark Carney, has warned of the possibility of Britain leaving the European Union without a deal, saying the UK and EU must do everything possible to avoid it.
I think the possibility of a no deal is uncomfortably high at this point, yes.
So you're saying quite clearly that a no-deal Brexit would be a disaster?
It is highly undesirable.
And that is all from the BBC News at 1. Let's join the BBC's news teams now, wherever you are. Have a good afternoon. Bye-bye.
Good afternoon, I'm John Watson with the latest from the BBC Sports Centre this lunchtime. England